So today I'm going to be talking to you about the transformational power of gratitude. And if you were like me, you're not as grateful as you think you are. And so here, let me explain. Um, do you wake up in the morning and you don't think of things that you're grateful for? You know, there's a lot of things going around about gratitude journals and writing down the 3 things or 10 things or whatever that you're grateful for. And if you go to Amazon, which I did recently, you can see a lot of gratitude journals. And I have a couple of them, and you do it really faithfully at first, and you forget. It does change your thought process a little bit, so you are thinking gratitudinal thoughts more often. But you know what I've noticed is that I don't connect the two, and that sometimes I am still complaining and I am still grumbling, and that sometimes it's just in my head. The lack of contentment is just there. And if I connected the two and I realized that when I have those ungrateful thoughts, that's because I don't have the gratitude that I want or should have and be wanting to culture. So, this is an invitation to transformation, to transform your thought process through the Holy Spirit. It's got to be through God working in you so that you will become a more grateful person filled with gratitude. So, this is called to me, it's like the grace of gratitude. There's a lot of grace. And what does it take to become a person that is filled with gratitude? Now, I'll tell you a little story. The last month of my mom's life, I visit her every day. I didn't, as an adult, live near her, but she, I visited my parents a lot, like 6 or 7 times the last year of their life, and then they passed within 4 months of each other after their 75th anniversary. Now let that sink. I said 75. Okay, she was 97 and a half. So she had a long time to work on this. So I don't know, but maybe she wasn't always like this. But as they would come into the room to bring her clothes back that they had washed, or to bring her food, or even to dust mop around her bed, she always thanked them. And that just really impressed me, because that didn't just happen. Here she was in the last days of her life, and she had that gratitude so strongly in her that she would thank them for doing something that was just their job, and it was just expected of them. But she didn't take those things for granted. So that's what I want to be now and working on, because your life is like a journey. It's not like you wake up one day and you decide, I want to be a person that has gratitude. You know, it's a transformational thing. It's something that you're going to constantly have to be working out those things in your life. So it's the grace of gratitude. And what does it mean to be a grateful person? And why does it matter? And I want you to ask the Lord to take you on a personal journey of gratitude. Now, watch out, because if you ask the Lord that, you're going to start noticing things that you may not want to see, and you might get alone and work through this and not like what you see. It's hard to look at yourself the way God can look at us. Yes, when we ask Him to forgive us, He doesn't see those things anymore. But it's just hard for us to see, because if I was talking to you, I would tell you the best things about me. I wouldn't tell you the things that I don't want you to see. And if I presented a story about something that happened between my husband and I would probably present it like not the, I would make myself look good. And so when I do that, I'm very careful to tell my side of the story, leave my husband out as much as possible. I don't think I always do that, but I do try, because I know that I am my heart is deceitfully wicked above all things. Don't ask me where that verse is. And that I even hide from myself the truth about myself. And so do you. So it's vital to train your heart to respond to all of life with a thankful spirit. And especially because we're going through times that are becoming increasingly difficult. The groceries are more because the gas is more, and it goes in a circle. So the groceries are more, and other things we need are more. And um, it's just incredible. And so the pressures are incredible, and but the pressure to become and to transform yourself into being a person of gratitude is like a ruby that, or a stone, a diamond that is just being cultured, and the pressure on that to expose that beautiful ruby. I like to think of rubies, um, once the process is all done, the ruby is beautiful. So you are going to have a growth in character as God creates in you that character of being a ruby that He's going to present you to God one day as. So saying yes, Lord, to the process of culturing and transforming yourself into a person of gratitude and presenting yourself to God and saying, yes, Lord, to that process brings freedom, because you are freed from that complaining spirit. And as it becomes more and more of a habit to look at life and the things that you want to complain about and see what's good in it or in something in and around it, will transform you and end up giving you freedom. So we want to pull up the stubborn weeds of ingratitude and choose to cultivate a thankful heart. Not always that easy, because sometimes in life I've gone through things that were so difficult that being thankful wasn't that easy. So, do you think of yourself, ask yourself this, as a grateful person or not? And do you say just basically, even in the smaller things, do you say thank you and write thank you notes? Or do you have good manners? I mean, these are things of good manners, and these are the basic things. These are actually the basic things that people used to have that often don't have anymore. And do you make gratitude a way of life? Do you think of your uh, there are blessings from having the attitude of gratitude, as I like to call it. I have a journal that is available, and one of the names that I've given it is the attitude of gratitude. When you are not vigilant, you will be you'll be sucked into the undertow of ingratitude so easily. So ingratitude is like the opposite. It's the taking things for granted and complaining about them, or just not seeing the beauty in the, like, this is fall, so the beauty in the oranges and yellows as I look out the window, and just all I can think of is I love summer more and I wish it was still warm. And instead of seeing the beauty in the day, life starts to feel hard and wearisome and overwhelming when you are ungrateful and you have a heart of ingratitude. When you start culturing a heart of gratitude, you begin to not feel that overwhelm and the hardship so much. Your life won't change, your circumstances will be the same, but it feels lighter because God is carrying you through in it. And the lack of gratitude produces fretting and complaining and resenting your husband, resenting your children, resenting the things you have or don't have, and on it goes. And first, in my own thoughts, I want to have thoughts that are not turning towards venting, and turning towards good thoughts about others. So I'm not gossiping or complaining about them. So if I'm saying something about somebody else to someone, it's praising them and uplifting. That's not gossiping. Well, maybe it is, but it's in a good sense because nobody will repeat something bad you said about the person. Gratitude is a life preserver, okay? It's like throwing out this life preserver and catching it, and it saves you from so much grief in your life. And it's like I have a story on my blog about a man who a ship sunk, and I forget his name, I forget the whole story, but I'll link it. And he saved so many people by swimming out for another person, and he saved something like, I don't know, 27 or 28 people, I think. And it affected his life, his physical, it affected him physically for the rest of his life. Nobody thanked him. I think nobody. And that was so heavy on his heart that he actually, I think, was ungrateful because of that. And so he developed that because he was ungrateful for the fact that no one was grateful. Gratitude preserves you from having a runaway, your emotions being like running away with you, so that you become more distraught, crying more, or whatever, over a situation where when I was going through some times that were really rough and I was younger, where my emotions were more a part of my life, if I had been more grateful and put grateful thoughts in me, maybe I wouldn't have cried so much. Maybe I wouldn't have felt that situation so deeply. And maybe I would have relied on God to help me through that situation more than I did. Not that I didn't, because God took me through those situations, and was an incredible time in my life of growing closer to the Lord. But it wasn't close enough because I could have relied on him even more. So if you rely on the grace of God, it keeps you from drowning. It keeps you from drowning into doubt and negativity and discouragement and anxiety. And I just hope you look to Jesus and that you join me in my invitation of transformation, because you can have the transformational power of gratitude. That is a mouthful. So thank you for joining me today, and to journey